inferiority in the Army. Some of the most educated and most influential officers of the modern era, such as General Patrius and Colonel Gentile, are Army officers. Due to being constantly understaffed, it is often the easiest branch to get into. In particular, the Army is more flexible with these guidelines than other branches. Notably, in support positions, they have much easier basic combat training than infantry and direct combat personnel, meaning many more citizens can get in and join the Army, and that's why it is larger. Founded on October 13, 1775, the United States Navy was the Yanks' response to the British Royal Navy, meaning just slightly newer. Hopelessly outmanned, outgunned, and outfunded, the Americans went under their creep-eating cousins for help. This was the last time France helped anyone, except Argentina during the Falklands War. The years since then have seen the fleets develop from 6 pirate-hunting, badass frigates to what is essentially the world's only blue-water navy. A good example of the current strength of the Navy can be seen in the number of aircraft carrier groups that are deployed by different countries, as aircraft carriers are the capital ships of the day. They are the greatest projection of force on water today. China has 1 carrier, formerly a helicopter carrier or amphibious assault ship, which is formerly the Soviet carrier Varyag. They are now building another and planned at least 2 more. India has 1 and is building 2. Russia still has the semi-functional Admiral Kuznetsov from the old Soviet Union, which has to be accompanied everywhere by a tug because of the fact of failed attempts and engineering issues. France has 1. Thailand has 1 designed for Harriers, though nowadays it only carries helicopter, and Britain has 1 undergoing sea trials and is building a 2nd. The United States currently has 11, with another 2 ordered and 1 under construction. The United States maintains a similar advantage in submarines, both ballistic and attacked, VTOL carriers, amphibious assault helicopters, and STOVL jets, and almost every other kind of ship. The United States Navy employs a few people that run around and bark orders at their minions, but usually there's quite a ton of officers. U.S. naval officers aren't as cool as the Marines in some ways, because they usually say lieutenant without an F, somehow in the middle. Many of these things are quite awesome. Our military has a lot of might that most people don't think of, and how many people there are. The United States Marine Corps is one of the 5 branches of the armed forces in the United States. Although a separate service, it is still a department under the Navy. Originally called the Continental Marines, according to its tradition, it was formed on November 10, 1775, in Tun Tavern, though historians believe it was actually a different bar in the town called the Conestowagon. Remind you that Marine stands, so they say, for my ass rides in Navy equipment by some people. That's what my grandfather used to say back in World War II. That, yes, it is a Department of Navy, and that's as close as they get. There's a lot of enlisted and a lot of Marine Corps, in the Marine Corps, and a lot of officers. Having a lot of trouble speaking tonight. Our current active duty is quite a bit. I'll have to look at the roster here because it changes daily. The United States Military Power Index currently lists our nuclear weapon capability, which is kind of scary, to be honest. Where is it? In 2012, the number of Los Alamos national employees were laid off in anticipation of a $300 million shortfall in our nuclear program. The ICBM enforcement program was initiated and almost completely implemented throughout 2014 and 2015, and shifted into $160 million into the Air Force to modernize facility and generally improve morale. Understand that we have probably one of the most largest nuclear arsenals in the world. Our current nuclear stockpile is considered strong. You have 5 levels on military power: very weak, weak, marginal, strong, and very strong. It would be considered strong because we have gotten rid of some things. Our reliability of U.S. delivery platforms is strong. The only thing that we have that's weak is our nuclear warhead modernizations. Our delivery systems are marginal. The complexity of our systems wouldn't be what you would call huge. But as an actual global military power, we are absolutely in the millions. Our reserve personnel is 811,000 last date. 1,281,900 active personnel. Good grief, I can't speak. We're going to go to... Yeah, we're 20 minutes in. I'm going to run the commercial tonight because I'm stuttering like a fool. Anyways, here we go for a commercial so I can try to get a drink and straighten this out.
Yo, this is Jeff.
This is Mark. I'm Mike.
I'm Craig. This is Mick.
We are Kings Hollow, and you're tuned into Dangerous Grounds Network.
Yep. Run by Special Ops veterans, putting people in war zones to work and working where others fear to tread. Each one of our products is manufactured in current or post-conflict areas. Your purchases fund women's education, demining efforts, and healing our veterans. High-quality products that make meaningful change for those less fortunate. What America will be for the world moving forward.
This is Sam from Madison Rising, and you're listening to Dangerous Grounds Network.
Branded Warriors Inc., the original tattoo therapy program in America. Big Country and his band of warriors will take care of all America's heroes, with one drop of ink at a time. Go to bwitattoos.org to fill out your application and send it to bwitattoos@yahoo.com. Then the power of the ink and BWI will heal your mind.
Black Rose Tattoo Shop. Veteran Rand and Branded Warriors preferred tattoo shop. BlackRoseTattoo.com. All your tattoo needs.
This is Rio of Madison Rising, and you're listening to Dangerous Grounds Network. Hey, you want a freedom boner or what? Listen now.
What's up? This is AJ from Madison Rising, and you're listening to Dangerous Grounds Network. And we're going to put a little bit of freedom all up in you.
You hid your skeletons when I had shown you mine. You woke the devil that I thought you'd left behind. I saw the evidence, the crimson soaking through. 10,000 promises, 10,000 ways to lose. And you you were careless to let it fall. You held it all, and I was by your side, powerless. Fall apart and chased you to the end. I'm left with emptiness that words cannot defend. You'll never
Alright, we're back, and hopefully I can actually speak. Good grief. Anyways, I'm going to run a small, well, not a small, actually a pretty large documentary about the American Revolution, because obviously I can't speak very good, and this will tell you more than I could in a good way. Alrighty? This is for our folks that are not in the United States, and those that are as well, because many of them just don't know. We're, in my eyes, not educating enough as of late and about our history. And if you try to erase the history or forget the history, you pretty much wipe away your future in my eyes.
Passion governs, and she never governs wisely.
The colonies are not to be emancipated.
All men are created equal, victory or death.
If the early motives for revolution were mercenary and self-serving, the year 1776 saw those beginnings transform and crystallize into America's beautifully idealistic Declaration of Independence. But that year would also see the Americans plunged into a war of desperation, as Britain unleashed on her colonies the full measure of her military might. At the same time, American rebels were fighting British regulars at the Battle of Bunker Hill. The Continental Congress was in session here at Philadelphia's Independence Hall, formerly Pennsylvania State House. John Adams believed he had the key to enticing an equivocal Congress into supporting the army that had formed around Boston. And the key was a man.
I concluded with emotion that Congress would adopt the army at Cambridge and appoint a general. I had no hesitation to declare that I had but one gentleman in mind for that important command, and that was a gentleman from Virginia, John Adams.
The gentleman was George Washington, who had attended the convention wearing his scarlet and blue Virginia militia uniform, as if advertising his availability for military service. With one brilliant stroke, John Adams brought the Plantation Society's southern colonies to the active support of the industry-oriented northern colonies, and at the same time provided the embryonic Continental Army with a